If you've just joined us, you're watching Newslink on DSTV channel 403. Now, the eThekwini ANC says it doesn't want to see former President Jacob Zuma back behind bars. The region says Zuma has already served his sentence. eThekwini ANC, however, say it respects the rule of law after the SCA's ruling. To discuss this further, we're joined by political analyst Zakhele Ndlovu. Mr. Ndlovu, good morning and thank you very much for your time. Now, many already saw that yesterday's court ruling not only has legal ramifications, but also political, given the former president's profile. So the ANC would, in this instance, have to convey a very well-constructed message to ensure supporters or sympathizers of the former president remain calm or understand the process now. Does the latest statement indicate that?
Well, it depends how you want to look at it. I think that it's quite clear that in this province of KwaZulu-Natal, President Zuma continues to enjoy support, but more importantly, sympathy. So I think that the ANC leadership in KZN understands that the majority of ANC supporters and many people who are not ANC members in KwaZulu-Natal sympathize with former President Jacob Zuma. There's been this narrative that he's been victimized, that he's been persecuted over the years. So I think that if you look at the statement that the ANC leadership in KZN released, would seem to suggest that they want to go along with this narrative that somehow President Jacob Zuma is being persecuted here.
But when you look at that, would that be helpful in this instance? Because yes, you say within the province, he still enjoys great support. So essentially, you'd have the provincial leadership wanting to sort of push that kind of a narrative as well, also sympathizing with the former statesman. But is it helpful in this instance with the benefit of hindsight?
Well, with the benefit of hindsight, look, I think that, you know, some people would look at this and say, well, we are supposed to be equal before the law. So, but in this case, it appears that some people are above the law, and in this case, former President Jacob Zuma. And so I think that they should have taken time to think about how they're going to construct this statement that they released, just to show that they do respect the rule of law, that they don't want to come across as a political party that does not seem to respect the rule of law.
But when we look broadly at the ANC, back then, if we look at the July riots, there was great criticism of the ANC collectively, not just the province, that when there was an opportunity just after the former president had indicated that even with the Concord ruling, he would not be pitching at the Zondo Commission, that you had opposition parties, the EFF, being the ones to reach out to him firstly and not necessarily the ANC. In that instance, some have criticized their managing of that whole situation from the onset. What has been your position on that? Did they poorly manage that one on a political front?
Well, on the political front, I don't think that the ANC did a good job of managing the whole situation. Look, let's keep in mind that when we talk about the ANC, we're talking about a political organization that has many faces. So you have the ANC, the current leadership of the ANC with Cyril Ramaphosa as the face of the party. But then you have those who are still loyal to former President Jacob Zuma, who would be the other faction of the ANC. And then even prior to that, you had former President Thabo Mbeki, whose supporters went on to form COPE, but some of them remained. So the ANC is a contested organization, so that it becomes a challenge for it to try and manage these kinds of situations because of the deep divisions that the ANC has even failed to manage, which has which has resulted in the loss of electoral support and some people even deciding to stay away and not vote.
So just looking at the situation now, post that judgment, do you foresee any sort of upheaval from some of the sympathizers or supporters of the former president, just looking at the situation now on the ground?
Look, it would be very unfortunate and sad for the whole country if we were to see the repeat of what happened in July last year. I think that the people have realized that what happened was something that was not good for the economy of the country. As we speak, there are many people who have not gone back their jobs after some of the businesses were burnt down. So I don't think that we would want to see a repeat of that. But of course, let's remember that there are many people who are opportunists out there who would take any chance and use that opportunity to wreak havoc. But I would hope that this time around, the law enforcement agencies would be ready, and of course, our intelligence services would do their job.
And perhaps just the realization that lives were lost. Like you say, the economy was battered. But beyond that, just investor confidence. Because for investors to the country, just looking at what happened in KZN, they would think, I'm not starting a business there. If I'm going to start a business and there's any disagreement with court judgments, I could have people just walking into my shop and taking everything.
Exactly. I think that you just raised a very, very good point. The fact that we're even talking about this, it's going to raise all sorts of concerns on the part of investors, be it domestic investors and international investors, who would be concerned that South Africa is a country that is volatile, that a country that cannot protect investors who, by the way, play a very important role in job creation and all of that. So I would hope that the ANC and then, of course, our government try and make sure that we do not see a repeat, or even, the fact that we are talking about this today, in itself suggests that anything can happen. And like I say, I would hope that we are not going to see a repeat of what you said.
But one would think it would be up to the political party that in this instance do not disregard the supporters or sympathizers, come to their level and address them on that particular court judgment to ensure that the rest of society is safe in this instance and our economy is saved. But
yeah, definitely. I think that the ANC has to show leadership here. The challenge, of course, is the fact that the current president is not popular in KwaZulu-Natal. And he's the one who needs to send a strong message that this time around, the government will not tolerate any kind of civil disorder.